Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So this is a continuation from last week's video, which talked about creating offers and creating your customer persona. Now, I did leave out some examples from last week's video, so we will be touching about some example offers in the later part of this particular video. So let's get started. Today we will be talking about the top of a sales funnel as well as the form of a funnel. The form of your offer within the funnel. So now that you have your offers ready, it's time to think about how you'll be getting your customers. In this particular video, we won't be talking about advertising or putting your offers on different platforms such as Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube, etc. This is really still talking about the core offer and the basically the top of the sales funnel. So the top of a sales funnel is the awareness stage. Some people use the AIDA formula, AIDA, and A stands for awareness. So what are the type of offers that will get people interested in paying attention to your particular business? So instead of just thinking about the offer, you also need to think about the form that it will take. So the form of your offer. What do I mean by this? So here are some examples that I've laid out, and you need to decide which form of an offer suits your kind of business. So for examples, there are giveaways, contests, giving away free information in the form of books, ebooks, consultation, and videos. You could offer test runs, demos as well, or you could do the most tried and true method, which is vouchers. Now, these are all just different forms of your offer, and it kind of varies from business to business. For example, test runs make more sense if you want to do car sales, because, well, I would like to know how the car runs before I even make a purchase, because if I make the wrong purchase, that's gonna cost me a lot of money, and it kind of makes no sense. It kind of makes no sense to have vouchers for, let's say, car sales, unless the voucher is like really high value. Because let's say it's a $50 off voucher, yeah, it doesn't really affect. So it really depends on the business you have, and that's when you have to think about which kind of offer really suits it. So yeah, think about the best kind of form of an offer that can complement your business. After all, you don't test run food if you're looking to sell a 5-course meal. That's it. There is a way to do it, which is to offer a taste test when trying to create a new menu. So again, this is an example of having a restaurant or F&B business, and yeah, you want to test out the new menu. You can you can look for some people that are willing to try it out for free, just so that you can get their views on your menu. However, when your menu is ready, you don't really give it out for free. You give vouchers, like let's say new menu to test out, get $20 off when you bring a partner over. So there's a lot to consider, which is why I want to leave this particular part open, because honestly, it really varies from business to business. So it really depends on your business and what you think is the best form you can offer to your customers. So next, we'll talk about capturing leads. So most of the time, no one converts immediately unless the problem's incredibly severe. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say you see an ad on YouTube or Facebook. You'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I might consider it. I might want to do some background checks about this particular offer, see if they have any alternatives, etc. So that's when the problem isn't really severe, but you're interested. However, when does someone have a severe problem? For example, if I slept really badly, if I didn't drink enough water, I would have a terrible headache. And if I did not have any painkillers at home or Panadol at home, I would really, really want to go out and buy some immediately. And if someone, let's say a store sells it for, I don't know, $2 for one pill, this is an example. But someone comes to my house and says, hey, I have the pill right now, I can give it to you, but it's going to cost you $10. When I have that kind of pain in my head, I'm not going to think, oh, it's 5 times the amount, it's not worth it. To me, it's like, I want it solved now, I want to take that painkiller now, I'm willing to pay the $10 instead of driving all the way to a store to get it for $2 because the pain is immediate. So instead of getting a paying customer when you are advertising, etc., you want to probably get some contact information so you can follow up with them. Because once again, going back to the first example, no one really converts when they see your offer for the first time unless it's a really painful problem. So you want to capture leads. So you basically want one of the following, or all if possible, which is either their email, their phone number, or their cookie data. So again, it's best if you can get all three, but typically if you only could get one, you would probably want email first, and then maybe phone number, and then followed by cookie data. So a bit of a side note, a lot of these may be changing soon. This is due to data laws around the world that are adapting. For example, in Europe, they have their own kind of data laws where you have to be very specific when you are telling your potential clients what you'll be using their data for. And if you specifically say we are only going to use your data to just message you to remind you about your order, you can only use it for that. And if you use that data for remarketing purposes, you are actually breaking the law in Europe. And another reason that these might be changing soon is that big companies like Google are restricting how we collect data and how we share data. So right now, if we go back to the previous slide, it does mention about cookie data. However, cookie data might be outdated as soon as next year, as Google is experimenting with something else. It's not really cookie data, but it's more about what's it called again? Grouping you into different grouping people online by their interests. So you can't really pinpoint who they are, because with cookie data, if you're smart with it, you can actually pinpoint who exactly visited your website and what did they do, etc. So yeah, that's just a bit of a side note. But yeah, in the digital age, a key point of information to collect is always the email. You can do a lot of things if someone gives you their email. Basically, you can start emailing them directly. You can put them into an email list, and then you can use that email list for your Facebook ads. You can use that email list for your Google ads. And you can also tell Facebook, if you have 1,000 emails, like, look for people like this. We call these lookalikes. So that's just a few examples, which is why email is really important to collect. But the key thing you need to do with leads is, to simply put it, follow up with them. You can do so directly. You can also do so indirectly. So you probably want to follow up directly if you're in a service-based business, like you're an agency, or perhaps if you are in sales for car dealerships as well. You just want to, if people say they're interested, but you haven't heard from them in a while, you probably want to catch up, like, hey, are you still interested in buying this car? Same thing goes with real estate. So you just want to contact leads, you want to set appointments, talk to them, get to know what their problems are, and try to solve them. So that's for heavy sale, personal sale kind of businesses. You can, again, follow up indirectly for both services and commerce. So you can use retargeting ads, like I mentioned earlier, on Facebook, on Google as well. So you have their cookie data, you have their email, you just send them different ads, or you can also send them newsletters. So if someone opts into your newsletter, if you have one, you can always just indirectly follow up with them by, of course, just promoting your newsletter, something that they subscribe to, which is probably daily or weekly tips on how to do X, Y, or Z. If you're in marketing, for example, maybe every week you talk about a case study, or maybe how you did X amount of leads for, I don't know, $100, something like that. So people know that you are active with your newsletters. They know what you're doing. You're kind of convincing them over time, and yeah, they get to see proof. So this is indirectly following up. So that actually concludes what we want to talk about for this video. But then, as I mentioned earlier, I forgot to include example offers in the previous video. So let's go over that real quick. So what to offer? what to offer really depends on your business, as everyone has something different to offer. But it really helps if you are specific with what you do and know who your customers are. Like previously mentioned in the previous video, you should be creating customer personas. You should be niching down on your offer and knowing what you can offer to them, to your specific audience. But just to help you out with understanding if you have an offer or not, and this is before you even choose the form of your offer. You should take a look at probably take a look at these examples. So I have 4 examples here. Key things you should note are who is it for, what do they want, and how do they get it. For example, in number 1, we help human resources save time with payroll with our one-click payroll software as a service. So who is it for? Human resources. What do they want? They want to save time when they do payroll. So how do they get it? They use this one-click payroll software to save their time. Very straightforward. Moving on to example 2. Again, who's it for? What do they want? How do they get it? We help new apartment owners design a minimalist interior by planning, sourcing, and installing furniture for them. So who's it for? Very specific. New apartment owners, not just any apartment owner. It has to be a new apartment owner. And what do they want? They want a minimalistic interior design. So that's what they want. How do they get it? They get it by going through us, where we plan, source the furniture, and install the furniture for them to achieve that minimalist interior design. So these are going through who's it for, what do they want, how do they get it. Let's go into example 3, where we kind of mix it around. So we prepare protein meal kits for bodybuilders that have no time to buy ingredients and cook for themselves. So instead of starting with 1, 2, 3, we go with 3, 2, 1. 3, 1, 2. So we prepare protein meal kits. How do they get it? For bodybuilders, who's it for? That have no time to buy ingredients and cook for themselves. That's what do they want. So if we flipped it back to the original 1, 2, 3, who is it for? It's for bodybuilders. What do they want? They want to have protein meals. They want to they want protein meals, but they don't have the time to buy ingredients and cook for themselves. So how do they get these protein meals? They just buy it from us because we prepare the protein meal kits for them. And let's move on to the final example, which is this one. Again, I flipped it around. So in this example, learn 5 simple ways to relieve joint pain by taking our orthopedic workshop made specifically for athletes. So now it's 2, 3, 1. Learn 5 simple ways to relieve joint pain. That's what they want by taking our orthopedic workshop. That's how they get it. And made specifically for athletes. That's who's it for. Let's flip it back to 1, 2, 3. Who's it for? This is for athletes who want to know how to relieve joint pain. It doesn't have to be 5 simple ways, but maybe they just want to relieve their joint pain, or they want to know simple ways to relieve joint pain. That doesn't really matter there. How do they get it? They join our orthopedic workshop. So this is the last of the examples. And let's just quickly go through 1, 2, 3, 4 of the examples again. You can just keep going through these examples, but always you can just stick to this formula of who's it for, what do they want, and how do they get it. This does take some time to understand, because initially, even when I was coming out of these examples, these are not the examples I took from the internet, it kind of made it was almost there. Sometimes you do this exercise and get it like 70 to 80% right, but then you go through it again and you realize you're missing maybe one of these questions that on the right. So take the time to go through the who is it for, what do they want, and how do they get it questions. And one last thing to recall is that this doesn't define your entire business per se, because you can create multiple offers. Let's do some examples on the fly. So we help human resource save time with payroll with our one-click payroll software. So from this example, you can identify who we are in this example, which is a software as a service company or a SaaS company, and primarily we help human resource. So For this example, it's actually to save time with payroll. However, if you have different kind of services, you can kind of slot them in. So it could be we help human resource with, let me think for a moment, hiring new recruits with our software that let me see, funnels down your recruits from 100 to 10. So yeah, that's one example you could use. You as a software company helping human resources with hiring by helping them save time by filtering candidates from probably 100 random candidates to the top 10. That would be a different example for the same business. So yeah, hopefully you found this video helpful, and I'll be creating more in the future. Thanks for your time, and I will see you next time. Ciao!